All right, so we've journeyed deep into the mind of Alexa. We've seen how it listens, and we've seen how it thinks. But now we're at the final and maybe the most fascinating piece of the puzzle. How does it actually speak? How does it adapt? And how does it evolve over time? Welcome to the final part of our three-part explainer. Let's get into it. So here's our roadmap to finish this off. We'll do a super quick recap of where we've been. Then we're going to dive into how Alexa got its voice in the first place, how its personality was designed, and the absolutely massive system it uses to learn from everyone. And finally, we'll peek into the future with something called AI agents. So if you remember, in our first explainer, we started with the absolute basics, the wake word. We talked about how that little on-device brain is always listening for that one sound, and the second it hears it, it translates the sound of your voice into digital text. Then, in part 2, we followed that text up into the cloud. We saw how its brain, the natural language understanding system, figures out what you actually mean, not just what you said, and then connects with all the right skills to get things done. Okay, but once Alexa understands you and figures out what to do, how does it talk back? This is where the technology gets, well, kind of magical. We're about to see the incredible jump it took to give a computer chip a voice that actually sounds human. So this slide shows the night and day difference between the old way and the new way. The old way, concatenative synthesis, was literally like making a ransom note out of sound. It would chop up pre-recorded words and stitch them together. You could always hear the seams, right? It sounded robotic. The new way, neural synthesis, that's a whole different ballgame. The AI generates the voice from nothing. And that brings us to the core tech here, neural text-to-speech, or NTTS. This is the key. The AI isn't just playing back a recording from a massive library. It's actually generating a brand new, totally unique sound wave from the text, kind of like how we do it. It's almost like a creative process. And this quote just nails it. It really gets to the heart of the change. The machine isn't looking for a sound file in a database anymore. It's basically dreaming up the sound, imagining how a person would say those exact words with the right tone, the right rhythm, everything. So how does that even work? Well, think of it in 3 parts. First, you've got a spectrogram, which is basically the sheet music for the voice. It dictates the melody and the rhythm. Then, something called a wavenet acts as the instrument, generating the raw audio thousands and thousands of times a second. But here's the secret sauce, the thing that makes it feel real. They add in fake breaths. A voice that never has to breathe just feels weird. It's that tiny little imperfection that makes it sound alive. A realistic voice is one thing, but it's the personality that makes you feel like you're talking to a coherent thing. So now we're going to shift gears from the physics of sound to the psychology of conversation. Alexa's whole personality is built around this idea of being an authentic AI. The goal isn't to trick you. It's not trying to pretend it's a person. Instead, it's designed to be the perfect partner. Friendly, gets to the point, trustworthy, but it's always clear that it is an AI. It's a really careful balancing act. And here's a great example of that design in action. It's called the one-breath test. The idea is that any answer Alexa gives you should be short enough for a person to say in a single breath. Why? Because you can't rewind a spoken conversation. This keeps you from getting overloaded with information and makes everything feel super smooth. This is so important. It's part of what's called the cooperative principle. If Alexa messes up or doesn't understand you, it never ever makes it seem like it's your fault. It always takes the blame, saying something like, "I'm not sure I understood." This keeps the conversation feeling positive and collaborative, not like you did something wrong. And get this, the personality isn't static. It can actually shift its emotional tone based on what's happening. For example, it has 2 different modes it can use. It can sound more excited if you say win a game you're playing, or it can use a more somber, empathetic tone if it has to deliver bad news, like your favorite sports team just lost. It's another layer of intelligence. Okay, so we've got the voice and the personality. But how does Alexa actually get smarter? Well, this is where things get really mind-blowing. We're talking about a planet-sized learning system that lets the AI improve from millions of interactions every single day. So check this out. One of the cleverest ways it learns is called rephrase detection. Imagine you say, "Alexa, turn on relaxation mode," and nothing happens. It failed. So you immediately try again. "Alexa, turn on the living room lights," and boom, it works. The system sees that pattern, a fail right before a success, and it makes a connection. It learns that for you, relaxation mode means living room lights. It's literally learning your own personal slang without a human ever getting involved. But wait a second, this brings up a huge, and I mean huge, question. How can this system learn from millions of people all over the planet without invading the privacy of their homes?
The answer is incredibly simple and incredibly powerful. The AI model travels to your device to learn. Your personal data never has to travel to the cloud. This technique is called federated learning, and it's brilliant. Here's the deal. A copy of the main AI model is sent down to your device. It then learns from your voice, your phrases, your rephrasing, all right there in your home. Then it sends a tiny, anonymous mathematical update, just the lesson it learned, back to the main brain. Your actual voice recordings, they never leave the device. And all of this, the voice, the personality, the learning, it all leads us to this final chapter, the future. We are right on the edge of a massive shift, from a simple assistant that answers questions to a proactive AI agent that actually does things for you. The difference is just profound. Traditional Alexa was basically a glorified search engine. You'd ask, "What's the number for the pizza place?" and it would tell you. The new agentic Alexa is about getting the task done. You say, "Order me a pepperoni pizza for 7 p.m., and it doesn't just give you info, it uses other apps and tools to actually place the order for you. This table right here, this basically tells the entire story of our whole 3-part journey. Just look at the progress. Voice went from that stitched-together ransom note sound to imagining its own voice. Memory went from forgetting everything in a few seconds to remembering things across multiple conversations. And intelligence, it's going from simple commands to actually reasoning and using tools. It's the entire evolution right there. So as we bring this all to a close, let's just step back for a second. We've traced the path of this technology from a bunch of code on a computer chip to something that, well, it starts to feel a little bit like a responsive intelligence. I mean, think about the arc of this story. We went from stitched together audio clips to a voice that literally dreams up how it should sound. We went from rigid, pre-programmed scripts to a personality that can adapt to the situation. We went from an assistant that had no memory of you to one that learns who you are. It's the story of a tool becoming a true part of the home. And that's it. That is the story of how Alexa speaks, adapts, and evolves. It's a journey that leaves us with one final, incredible question. For the first time in human history, we have taught our environment, our own homes, to listen to us. So the only question left is, what are we going to ask it to do next?